to another episode. On this one, I'm going to have a look at the valve train. So I'm going to look at the cylinder heads, I'm going to look at the rockers, and we're going to look at the lifters. So I've got AFR 220 competition cylinder heads, which have a 58cc combustion chamber. I'm using Jessel shaft mounted rockers, and I'm using Iski or Johnson link bar roller lifters. So let's take a look. There they are. AFR Renegade 220 competition heads. Alright, let's pull one out. I might have to put the camera down, pull one out at the same time. Try and do it with my hand. Look nice. Raised exhaust ports. Dual mounting studs as well, or mounting holes for the exhaust flange, which is good. Because the AFR 185s they had previously had the inside holes, the narrow holes. It was very hard to tighten the bolts on a couple of the primaries. This looks heaps better. Alright guys, these are the cylinder heads. AFR 220 competition heads. Pull them out the bag, have a look at them, eh? Oh, wrong side. Very nice. CNC'd in there, AFR Renegade 220. Alright, give it a quick rotate first so you can have a look at the whole lot. Massive intake runners. AFR do a nice job. The finish on these heads is fantastic. Alright, I suppose we'll start the valves. Okay, these valves on the intake are 2.1 inch and on the exhaust are 1.57 inch. It's a 58cc combustion chamber. I chose 58cc over the 72cc combustion chamber due to the compression ratio I want to actually achieve. So with the custom pistons I'm getting, and with the 58cc combustion chamber, it should bring the compression ratio down to about 8.9 to 1, which is perfect for what I want to run with pump gas 98 and the amount of boost I want to run in it as well. But if I do want to turn it up, I can run E85 or race fuel, and yeah, turn the boost up again. And these heads will still do, still be fantastic for sort of what I need. They do have 1/2 inch mounting bolt holes for the heads, which is good. I do have studs. I'm not using ARP bolts. I'm using ARP studs, just for serviceability. Pulling the heads off again, they're much easier when you've got studs there, just under the nuts, and then pull the head off, change the head gasket or whatever the issue potentially could be. Put them back on and then torque the nuts back up. So it makes it easier for servicing. Nice big intakes, 5-axis CNC on all the ports, intake and exhaust. So they're still quite rough there, which is good. Try and get good atomization of the fuel and air. Alright, on top we have 7/16 stud mounts for the rockers. I am running shaft mounted rockers, Jessel, so we'll have a look at them shortly as well. Dual valve springs, I've got these ones here. These are for a hydraulic roller cam. The cam specs that I have on my custom grind comp cam is suited to these springs. These are good for about 700 thou lift. I think my cam's about 650 lift. I won't give the full specs away. So yeah, if I do go to a solid roller down the track, I will have to change these springs out. But yeah, they look good, real nice. These are raised exhaust ports. These exhaust ports are raised 0.375 of an inch. They do have dual mounting bolt holes, which is good because I have had AFR 185s previously and they only had the inner holes, which made it real hard to try and mount the extractors up. I think it was on cylinder 3 and cylinder 7 with the pacemaker extractors because they were so close I had to squeeze the primary, and getting those bolts in was an absolute nightmare. So this is good that I do have the option of the outside bolts, which I will try and use. I will be getting the competition engines custom made, what are they? They're 2-inch primary to 3.5-inch collector, I think. And they're suited for an X series Falcon using a turbo 400, turbo 350, all that. So I've heard good things about those extractors. So they're the ones I'll eventually get. So you see in there as well in the exhaust, all CNC'd. The direction or the angle going straight down with the raised exhaust port here, this goes straight to the top of the valve. I don't know if you can see inside there or not, but just how it's angled and the research I've done to try and get the air in and the air out as fast as possible are awesome. That's why these are the best heads that AFR produced currently. Cross-reference is of the intake and exhaust ports. Can read out the flow chart on what these heads flow. So on this 220 head, the intake, so let's just start from 400 thou lift. So the intake at 400 thou is 258 CFM and exhaust is 215. At 500 thou lift, they're 295 intake and 238 exhaust. On 600 thou lift, they're 315 CFM and exhaust is 245. On 700 thou lift, these flow 325 CFM and on intake and 249 CFM on exhaust. And at 800 thou lift, so if you went for like a solid roller, these flow 331 CFM on intake and 250 on exhaust. They're very close to the 3B CHI. These flow very close to them, which is good, obviously being Windsor for, you know, the complete motor, not going to a cleave or anything like that. I'm happy that I've gone Windsor all the way through. I think these heads are going to be fine. They flow very well straight out the box, and obviously with the CNC job they've done from factory, it's magnificent. So yeah, these heads will flow exactly what I need, and they're going to make, you know, pretty good numbers hopefully. So I look forward to getting these on the car. I will be building the engine hopefully around August. I'll get the remaining parts I need around June, July. Then I'll send the block off to the machine shop. I will do a little bit of prep work on the block first, dart block. I'll film that and put that up on the channel. Pretty much just prepping a brand new block. So just a lot of deburring and just cleaning up and tidying up and just making everything a little bit neater. Just so when it does go to the machine shop and it does get the machine work done, when I get it back, I can pretty much start putting it together. So yeah, these heads are awesome. So I'll put them away again now, and we'll look at the lifters. Okay, these are the Johnson lifters I'm using. It's an Isky lifter made in the USA, which is good. They're a Silver Series HP needle bearing hydraulic roller lifter. These are made for 302 Windsors, 351 Windsors, 410 cube Windsor, which I'm using. Max limit RPM is 7,500 RPM. So they recommend, they are a link bar lifter. So basically a retrofit. They've got a C-clip on top there, so you know they're serviceable in case anything happens. Touch wood, it doesn't. Highest quality, best on earth, I reckon. So to say, the product feature, it says absolute highest quality, high performance, best on the planet. Can't argue with that. That's what Zoran recommended for the combo. So yeah, this is what I got. Awesome, look great. All right, next we'll have a look at the Jessel shaft mounted rockers. All right, I haven't opened these up yet. I've just put some tape over the top just to stop it from getting any dust in here, like I've done with pretty much every new component that I've got so far. So we'll cut it open, we'll have a look. Whoa, all right. Everything's nicely packaged, which is good to see. It's got the torque spec sheet. I'm torquing them all up. All right, put that aside, won't lose that. But yeah. the assembly lube by the looks. Looks like it's leaked all the way through the bag. It's always good. Alright, I'm guessing that's one of the shafts here. One head. Oh, very nice. I'm going to open this up, have a little look. It's nice. Nice machine bit. Very nice. Heavy too. Obviously made of steel. Yeah, very heavy. It's good, strong. All right, we'll wrap this back up and we'll check out the rockers. Back in the packaging again. All right, we'll get a rocker out, eh? Have a look at them. Woo! Golly. It's a 1.7 to 1 ratio rocker. Oh, nice. We'll cut one of the packets open, have a look. Nice 12-point nut on them. 1.7 ratio, or 1.7 to 1 ratio rocker. These are a full roller rocker. They do have C-clips, so they are serviceable as well. Just in case anything does happen, you can pull them apart and service them. The body itself of the rocker is aluminum. They're sitting on a steel shaft by the look of it. Might even be chrome moly. They look nice, very good. Just doing a bit of a read up on the rocker itself. So these are a Jessel Sportsman Series rocker. So they are a OEM replacement for the standard roller rocker. These sit on the shaft that I showed you just previously. All the mounting hardware is there as well to mount all these down. They all have to be torqued up to a certain spec. The reason why I chose these, the Jessel, which I've always wanted ever since I first started playing around with Windsors. These are high quality. These are made for high horsepower, high RPM applications. And you know, they're not cheap in comparison to a lot of other ones that are out in the market, but being a shaft mount, they do have a huge amount of advantage over a stud mount rocker. There's a few things they can do, but you know, one of the most important ones is that that these are mounted to a stationary shaft. They will not twist, and the trunnion does not move up or down like when lash is experienced on a stud mount rocker. A rocker is basically a reciprocating lever arm. The rocker ratio number is how much it will be multiplied by the cam lobe lift. How much the lifter moves from the base circle of the cam when fully seated and valve fully closed. So on a 1.5 to 1 ratio rocker arm at 500 thou lobe lift, it's going to open the valve 1.5 times that amount. So 1.5 times 500 equals 750 thousandths, meaning the valve will open into the cylinder 3/4 of an inch. This is where you could run into clearance issues. So it's ideal to turn the engine over by hand and make sure there's no clearance issues there. Some people use clay and measure that distance between the valve and the piston itself. Every engine builder will have a certain tolerance they allow for an engine for clearance, and that is ideal to make sure that is correct before going any further. Okay, what we must have left here is the hardware. Okay, so that's basically how they're set up when they're finally done. So you can see the shaft mount there, you can see the rockers all set up, all nice and true. So we got some shims there, we got the bolts, there's some washers, it's like all cap screw stuff. Nice. Oh, that's good. You'll see a detailed version of this when we do put everything together and do start mounting these to the heads. in the engine build-up in a later video. I'll put all this away now. So basically that's the top end besides the manifold of what I'm running in this combo. It's all high-end stuff, it's all quality gear, it's all proven gear. That's why I've gone down this path. So yeah, I'm happy with it, it's good. Put it all away again until we go to build the engine. There you have it guys, another episode done. I hope you enjoyed it. A bit of a speed part unboxing, which I haven't done before, and that was rather interesting. It was good to see the components sort of, in the flesh. It is one thing reading up on them on the internet and then actually having them in front of you and then being able to, have a good look over them. It's always good, but right now they are just speed parts collecting under my workbench. I'm looking forward to actually seeing them on a complete engine. So the end of August is when I'm going to try and shoot to have the engine built. Early August I'm going to try and get all the machine work done, so get the block all machined up, get all the rotating parts, rotating assembly all balanced and ready to go. And then try and have it completed by the end of August. So until then, there'll be more episodes coming up of the build. I've been trying to paint the boot for the last couple of weeks now, but every time I try and do it, it's been raining or it's been windy or it just hasn't been the right circumstance to paint it. So hopefully I can do that shortly and continue on from there. But I have taken the master cylinder out and the brake booster, so I can try and get some more welding done and fill some more holes on the engine bay. That'll be in a upcoming video. But until next time, like and subscribe, and see you.